Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture on linear algebra. So today in this lecture I will discuss about the linear algebra behind the least square method. So let's start with that one. Okay, so in the previous lecture we have discussed about that how linear algebra is being used for means how the least square method is used for whenever we have a large number of data to find out the linear fit or a quadratic fit or a polynomial fit. So today in this lecture we are going to discuss that how the linear algebra plays the role in understanding the least square method. So like in the least square method we have a large number of points. Suppose I have this is my x-axis and y-axis, and we have a large number of points, data point that is given to me. Suppose at this point we have this value, then this value, maybe this value, like this one. So we have suppose x1 x2 up to xn. This is the n number of points, and this is so now my value is given to me. So I have a points x1 y1 x2 y2. So these are the data points. Data point. And now suppose I want to fix a line that is not, because our condition our what would we like to have is that this line should pass through all the point, but that is not in real. So what we want that this line should be close to all this point. So in this case what we do that I will take that, let I take a line y that I just write a plus b x. So this is the line fit I am considering. So now in this case what is happening, let, so this is line and I am thinking that okay, let this line is passing through all this point. So in that case I can write that okay, it should be satisfied by all the elements. So I'll take a plus b x1, then it should be equal to y1. A plus b x2, it should be equal to y2. And in the end I will get a b xn, it should be equal to yn. Now if you solve this, you will get a matrix in this form. So I'll get 1 1 1 1, and in this case I will have x1 x2 xn, and this is vector ab, and on the right hand side you will have the vectors y1 y2 and yn. So now this is a system of equation. So I just write this matrix as a matrix, and this column vector, this is a variable, so I can call it c, and that is on the right hand side. I will just write it in the vector y. Now, in this case, you know that this is a matrix of order n cross 2, and this is 2 cross 1, so it should be n cross 1. So this system of equation definitely will have the solution when all these points lies on the line, but in our case it is not lying on the line. So you will see that this system, so I can say that this system has solution if all the points lie on the line that is a plus bx that is equal to y. But this is not true in this case. So what is going to happen then? This system has no solution if any of the point, if some points, the if some point don't lie on the line, so that we know. Now in this case what is going to happen is that if this system is not solvable, then how we can find the solution of this one? So for this one we are going to take the help of linear algebra. So now I have a system a c is equal to y. So this is my system. Now what I'm going to do is that first of all this matrix A is not a square matrix, it is a rectangular matrix. So I just call this system as system 2. Now I just pre-multiply by A transpose to the equation 2. So I just write pre-multiply A transpose A C, that is A transpose Y. This is the Y. Now I know that this A transpose matrix, if A is n cross 2, then it is 2 cross n. So if you see from here, then the matrix A transpose A will be 2 cross 2 matrix, and C is the same, it is 2 cross 1, and then on the right hand side we get a vector A transpose Y. So A transpose is 2 cross n, it is n cross, so it is going to be 2 cross 1. Now, okay, so this matrix is 2 cross 2 matrix. Now this system, I can say that this system is going to have the solution if I say that this matrix A transpose A is non-singular. Then it is going to have a unique solution. And in this case, how we can say that this matrix A transpose A is always non-singular? Now if you see from here, I have taken A. So A matrix is given to me, that is 1 xi xi. So if you see from the previous lecture, my A transpose matrix will be 1 1 1 1, and this is x1 x2 x3 xn. And if I multiply A transpose A, so I'm just multiplying this equation 1 1 1 x1 x2 xn and writing my another matrix A here. So it is 1 1 1 and x1 x2 up to xn. Now if I start doing the multiplication, so you will get that A transpose A becomes, so 1 and this multiplied, so it is just the summation. So I can write here n, 1 plus 1 into 1, 1 plus 1 1, so it is up to n, so it is n number of times, so it is n. Then if I multiply this column with the first row, then it is summation xi's, where I from 1 to n. Now again it is summation xi I from 1 to n, and in the end you will get summation xi square from 1 to n. And if you see from the previous lecture, we got this type of matrix from the normal equation also. So we got same matrix using normal equations. Okay, so the same matrix I got. Now the thing is that I want to check whether this matrix is a non-singular or not. So first thing that this matrix A transpose A, I know that the first condition is that, or property you can say, is that it is symmetric matrix. That we have already seen from here also, and we can also check that if I take the transpose of this matrix, then it become, by the definition of the transpose, it become A transpose A. So it is a symmetric matrix. The second thing we want to say that, let's see that what is the rank of this matrix. So in this case, what we are going to prove, that rank of this matrix A transpose A is same as the rank of the matrix A. Now, what about the rank of the matrix A? So if you see, then the matrix A is this, and in this case, if I reduce this into the echelon form, now all the points are, if I take all the points are same, only then its rank is going to be 1. Otherwise, if we get few points that are different, then definitely this matrix is going to have the rank 2. Okay, so from here I can say that now I can show that the rank of the matrix A is 2 if we are going to have at least two different points. If all the points are same, then definitely this matrix is going to have the rank 1. Otherwise, it is going to have the rank 2. And this is the maximum rank it can have. So from here, I need to show that the rank of A transpose A is also 2. And it is a 2 cross 2 matrix. So you know that if we are able to do that, then we are done. Now, so let's prove this also, the rank of the matrix. So for this one, we just look at that the matrix A, this is, let's I take, so I just take a general matrix. Okay. So let us choose a matrix A which is of order m cross n. I'm doing this one for the general matrix of order m cross n. So now we know that if you treat this matrix as a linear transformation, then it is always going from linear transformation from Rn to Rm. That is a linear transformation we know. And in this linear transformation, we also know that there are four subspaces. So these are the important subspaces. So that is a row subspace of the matrix A, and this is the null space of the matrix A. On the other hand, I have null space of the matrix A transpose, and we have column space of the matrix A. So these are the four subspaces that is always associated with any of the matrix of order m cross n. So from we have a linear transformation from here to here, that is represented by A of order m cross n, and that is from Rn to Rm. So this is always there in this case. Now And we also know from the linear algebra that these are perpendicular to each other. So that is a different thing we can prove very easily. But here we already know that these subspaces are orthogonal to each other, because you know that this linear transformation from Rn to Rm, it means that this is Rn and this is Rm. So this row space of A means we are dealing with the elements of row, and we know that the row element has the n uh, components, so it is coming from the Rn, and it is going with the going to the Rm, and m is the number of elements in the column, so that is my Rm. So it is going to be in this form. So after doing this one, so let's start that. I will do the first part. So part 1, let I choose a element x that belongs to the null space of A transpose A. Let's see that one. So if I choose an element x that is belongs to the null space of A transpose A, which implies that A transpose AX is going to be 0. And this one I can write as A transpose AX is going to be 0. Now from here, then if I write like this one, that A transpose AX is going to be 0, then from here I can say that AX belongs to the null space of A transpose, right? Now AX belongs to the null space of A transpose. It means that this belongs to, it means that AX should belongs to this. From here I can say that AX should belongs to this null space of A transpose from here. Now once I have this value, then I know that we also know that AX belongs to the column space of A. Because if you see this one, AX is what? You are just uh, taking the X component, multiplying the columns of the matrix A. That is the way we do the multiplication. Because in this case, suppose your matrix is consists of column C1, C2 like this one, and the last column is Cn, and you multiply by x. So what is going to happen here? X1 plus x2 xn. So if you see from here, you are taking the linear combination of the columns. So if you are taking the linear combination of the column, then it means you are going to belongs to the space subspace created by the columns of the matrix A. So that's why AX should belong to here. Now AX also belongs to CA, and AX also belongs to the null space of A transpose. So, and we know that this happens, it means that our element AX should be 0 element, because these both the subspaces have the element 0, that is belongs to the null space of A transpose and column space of A also. This is the only element it is going to have in this case, and they are perpendicular to each other, that we already know. So from here we implies that my X belongs to the null space of A. So from here I can say that X I have taken from the null space of A, and it lying in the null space of A. So null space of A transpose A is a subset of null space of A. So one part is okay. Now I go the second part too. So in the second part, let we take X belongs to the null space of A. So if belongs to the null space of A, I have my AX equal to 0. Also, if I pre-multiply both sides by A transpose, then it is going to be 0. And from here, I can say that X belongs to the null space of A transpose A. So now X is coming in the null space of A transpose A also. So from here, I can say that, okay, null space of A is a subset of, so I can write the subset of null space of A transpose A. And from these two relation, we implies that from here and from here, we can have now we can have that null space of A transpose A is equal to the null space of A. Now, after showing these things, now we can have another thing. We can show that now using, so this proof is completed. Now we have that using rank nullity theorem. So I know that the rank of the matrix A plus nullity of the, or the null space or the nullity of matrix A, that is, so in this case is going from Rn to Rm, so it should be of order n, right? So now also I have that A matrix is of order m cross n, A transpose is of order n cross m, then A transpose A is going to be n cross n. So I can also have that the rank of A transpose A plus nullity of A transpose A, that is also going to be n. But the nullity of, we have just showed that the null space of A transpose A is equal to the null space of A. So from here I know that nullity of A transpose A is same as nullity of A. So if that is true, then from here I can say that the rank of A transpose A is also same as the rank of A. So this is we are able to show. Now after doing this value, now I come to the main thing. So from here we know that now since a rank of the matrix A that we have considered in our, that is of order, the matrix we have taken that was of order n cross 2 is 2. So which implies that the rank of A transpose A, whatever we have taken, that was of order 2 cross 2, that is also 2. And so now from here we can say that the matrix A transpose A is non-singular because it is of dimension 2 cross 2 from from our system 2, that our the system I have considered. This is the system we have considered, these two. So the matrix was of dimension n cross 2 and third is 2 cross 2 and this one. So from here I can say that A transpose A is non-singular, so which implies that from our system 3 that I've taken, I can take the inverse of A transpose A. So from here I can write that my system C, the value of C can be written as A transpose A inverse A transpose Y. And from here I'm able to solve this system, and this system, if we solve, then it is going to have the, so in this case you know that the system doesn't have the solution, but when we multiply by A transpose A, then we are able to find the solution of this system. So this solution is the least square solution, is the least square solution. So this solution, if I take the C, then maybe I can have C hat. So C hat is not exactly the C, but it is going to give you the approximate solution or approximate value of the C, such that the line passes through, not passing through all the point, but it pass close to all the point. So I can maybe write this C hat is my approximate solution. So from here I can also write that, so I just write it 4. So I can also write from 4, I just pre-multiply 4, and I can write A transpose A inverse A transpose, and this is my Y. So what is going to happen here? We have, from the above system, I know that since system 1 is not, is inconsistent, I can write inconsistent because the element y does not belongs to the column space of the matrix A. Because this system is not going to have the solution, it means that y does not belong to the column space of A. But now what we have done, we have taken a projection of y and pre-multiply this one, and I got a y hat. So from here I get a new system, A C hat is equal to y hat, and this system is going to have the solution, and y hat belongs to the column space of A now, because this system is going to have the solution, that's the least square solution, and in the least square solution we are able to solve this system of equation. And from here now I can say that we have a projection matrix P, that is A transpose A inverse A transpose. So this is my projection matrix. So projection matrix is P, which is applying on the Y and projecting the Y, and I am getting the new Y, that is a Y hat. And you know that the projection matrix, so if I take P square, then A A transpose A inverse A transpose is A A transpose A inverse A transpose, and if you multiply this one, I'll get A transpose inverse A transpose A A transpose inverse A transpose, and from here I'll get A transpose. So A transpose A, it will cancel out here, and I will get this value A transpose A inverse A transpose, and this is, if you take from here, then it is again the value P. So I can say that P square is equal to P. So this is the property of the projection matrix. So now we are projected the given vector into the column space of A, and then we are able to solve this one. So this is the linear algebra behind this, that how the we can say that the given system of equation can have the solution, because this is only possible when we are able to show that this matrix A, we are able to show that this matrix A is definitely of rank 2. Only then we are able to show, because the rank of A transpose A is same as the rank of A. So in that case, my A transpose A is non-singular, and then we are able to take the inverse. But the things changes when you will see that this matrix will only have the rank 1. So in that case, the least square method cannot be applied. And then we go for another type of methods using the pseudo inverse type of things, and that will be uh, discussed later on. So now in this case, we are able to show that, yeah, so this least square method works well whenever we have this one. So after doing this one, maybe we can try one example based on this, that suppose I take a point. So let's take some points. Suppose I take a points which are definitely not lying on the line. Let's take, suppose I take 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, and maybe 4, 16. So you can see that I have chosen the points which are not on the line. It is basically I have taken the square. So if you see 1, 1, 2, 4, so I have taken a point like this one, that is lying on the x square. So now if you take a line, so I just take A plus B, it should be equal to 1. A plus 2B, it should be equal to 4. A plus 3B is equal to 9, because I am taking a line y is equal to A plus bx. This is, I am just considering a line which is passing through all these points. Let's consider this one. But I have chosen the point like this, then this, then this, and then this. Okay, but I am considering a line which is passing through like these points, and another line A plus 4B, and that is equal to 16. So this type of things is used in the experiment in the statistics also, because we can say that let's we are doing some experiment. So I'm taking the reading again and again, and every time I'm getting the value of y different. Okay, so we are doing again and again experiment, and the other side of the y is always changing. So in that case, we want to find out the solution of that experiment. So that there also we use the least square method. So in this case, if you see, then this system becomes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, and this is 1, 4, 9, 60. So this is my system of equation now, and I know that this system is going to have no solution, because in this case these all points are not lying on the line. And this one you can also try by taking the augmented matrix. So let's take the augmented matrix here. So it is 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 4, 9, 60. And now suppose I want to reduce into the echelon form, then I just take minus R1 plus R2 minus R1 plus R3 minus R1 plus R4 and this is value 1 1 1, then I'll get 0 value 1, and then I'll get 3, I'll get 0 here, 0 here, I will get here 2, and this is 8, I'll get 3, and this is 50. And now I will again apply the formula. So I'll get minus R2, 2 times minus R2. So minus 2 R2 adding to R3. Okay. And then minus 3 R2 adding to R4. So this operation I'm applying. So I'll get 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 3, 0, 0. So minus 2 plus 2 is going to be 0. Minus 2, so minus 6 plus 8. So it is going to be 2. Here minus 3 plus 3, 0. And minus 3 into 3, minus 19 plus 15, it is 6. And from here, if you see from here, then it is 1 1 1 0 1 3, and then it is 0 0, and but here it is 2 6. So you can see from here that the rank of the matrix A is 2, but rank of augmented matrix, so this is the augmented matrix, is 3. So from here you can say that this system is inconsistent. This system is inconsistent. As I told you that this system is inconsistent, it means that this system cannot be solved. Now, how it can be solved, that is what the linear algebra or what the least square method is, just we have discussed. So these examples we can do by just, I will take the projection matrix for this example, and then I will try to show you that how it works in the MATLAB in the another lecture. So I think we should stop here. So I hope that this is clear to you that how the linear algebra is being used for in the least square method. And the example I was just started in this, I will try to solve this in using the MATLAB, and we also try to solve another examples using the just we want to see the power of least square methods, and that will be done some in some another lectures. So thanks for watching this lecture. Thanks very much.